Coming to get you, Barbara.
Here's Johnny.
Like scary.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Scared Speechless, the podcast where two Freddys spend 5 nights together and try to find the words to describe our favorite and least favorite horror films. I'm your host, Jake, along with my co-host, Aaron.
I think we missed out on saying two furry robots or animatronics.
That's true. I could have done
I think
better.
that's a missed opportunity, but that's just me.
Well, fine. You can write the intros from now on.
Might be. Sorry.
I guess.
Oh my God.
I guess it gave it away. But Aaron, would you like to tell the people what we are talking about on this episode?
Oh, yeah, I'm so excited. We're talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. Came out this year, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
It's rated PG-13. It's an hour 49 minutes. I felt like a little longer. Actually, that's pretty long.
It's
pretty long.
Yeah, I'll get into
Never
that.
mind. I think it feels just about that long. But for me anyway. Its
Yeah.
IMDb rating is 5.5 out of 10. It's directed by Emma Tammy, and it's written by Scott Cawthon, Seth Cuddeback, and Emma Tammy. And it stars Josh Hutcherson, Piper Rubio, and Elizabeth Lyle.
And Matthew Lillard.
And Matthew. Did I forget someone?
Did they not list him as like one of the main cast? All right, whatever.
Well, they only put 3 in the starring, in the top stars.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess he's not that featured.
It's featured.
That-
But yeah, it definitely stars Matthew Lillard, man.
It does. It does.
It stars him so hard.
What's the most recent movie that you've seen him in? Like, not that you've
Scooby Doo.
No, not that you've watched, but that's been released. Like, I can't remember
That's what I mean, Scooby Doo. I think
He's
I really
in,
don't think I've seen him in anything else.
He's in this comedy with Seth Green and Dax Shepard called Without a Paddle.
Oh my God, I've been meaning to watch that.
Yeah, I remember what it's. I think it's kind of funny. It's not like an amazing movie, but it's good for a few laughs, especially if you have a few drinks or something. But that's
I'm
the
down
most
with it.
recent thing I have seen Matthew Lillard in, which was like 2013, I want to say, or something. Unless I'm completely off about that. You know who else is in that movie?
Who's that?
Anthony Starr, the actor who plays Homelander on The Boys, is in that movie for like a hot minute.
For a second, I thought you meant Five Nights at Freddy's. I was like,
No.
how the fuck did I miss Anthony Starr?
Oh no.
That's funny, man.
I wish Anthony Starr had shown up. That would have been pretty fun. Yeah. So
I don't think I've actually seen him in anything. I think he's on Critical Role, or was on Critical Role at some point. It looks like. And he voiced Shaggy in like everything for the past however many years. In multiverses too. That's awesome.
Oh shit! No way. Yeah, we should just make this a Matthew Lillard episode because
I may as well.
I mean,
He
all right.
was fantastic in this.
Can
I loved him in this. What's that?
So all right. So you how many times have you seen this movie?
Like twice.
Okay, you've seen it twice.
Yeah.
So like you really like it, right?
I really enjoy it. Yes.
That I'm envious. I'd like to start
enjoying
this.
it?
I'd like to start this discussion. I kind of hated this movie.
Really?
I didn't want to. I wanted to have.
You are gonna hate my score.
You're gonna hate mine.
Uh, man,
I went into this
it's gonna be
episode.
the most mid movie, literally.
I went into this so like totally like to this conversation totally expecting to just have this might be the biggest score discrepancy we've ever had. like
Probably, dude.
um but so okay, so with that being said, I don't think we gave the plot synopsis yet. Is there like a decent IMDb one that kind of covers what? If there's not, I can summarize it quick
Uh,
cuz it's pretty easy to talk about, but
Pardon me. Oh my goodness, excuse me.
it's
Don't
that
edit that out.
it's
Just
that
kidding.
it's that LaCroix.
Yes, the La Croix. Um,
LaCroix.
yeah, I mean, all right. So here it is. A troubled security guard begins working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. During his first night on the job, he realizes that the night shift won't be so easy to get through. Pretty soon, he will unveil what actually happened at Freddy's. Dun-dun-dun-dun. So exciting.
So I'm going to tell you what happened.
Yeah.
I think I don't know anything about the games, but
Really?
here is my thought. The person who came up with the idea for this game was probably like in their 30s or 40s, and
Yep.
they had kids, and they took them to see Night at the Museum. And they came home that day after seeing that movie and said, "How can I make this for edgy 14-year-olds?"
Nah, man. Dude, you are so off base.
I don't know anything about the
No.
games. That's just the impression I got
It's
from the movie.
it's like a Chuck E. Cheese kind of thing, and you're at the like pizzeria and like fucking yeah. He made the game, and it's like they come and jump scare you because you are him. Like he lives it pretty accurately, I'd say. Um,
It's also it's okay. So it is jump scare based because this is this
yeah.
movie is what I describe as I'm thinking about making a letterboxed, not playlist, letterboxed list, titled this. But this is a woogity boogity boo movie. You know, it's
Hmm.
it's a movie that is solely based around woogity boogity boo moments,
I love him.
and yeah. Okay, so
If you like had an so I obviously I was going to ask you this question,
yeah, go for it.
but it doesn't seem I needed to because I was just going to ask like if you had any connection to this game. So that's a resounding no.
No,
Um,
I knew nothing about it.
I when I was younger, it came out in 2014. The game,
Hmm.
the first one, and I remember like being like, oh, because I think I didn't have Steam or something to play the game, or I needed to ask my mom for her card or whatever, and I never want to do that.
Hmm.
Um, so I was like so excited when it came out on mobile on like iPhone, and I remember my friends I would play it during like lunch, and we'd be like, "Oh my god, did you guys get the Golden Freddy?" Which is like a really rare thing to happen in the game. Um, and it was just like such wholesome fun. Um, and learning about the lore on YouTube, fucking by the guy who's like in this movie. Um, I don't know if you knew about him, Matt Pat on
I had heard someone say, "Oh, Matt Pat's in this." I
yeah,
don't know who Matt Pat is.
from Game Theory.
Hmm.
You know Game Theory?
No, no, I don't.
Oh man, that's crazy. Well, he essentially came up. Well, so this game like came out, right?
Yeah.
And like his whole thing is that he kind of like looks deeper into the meaning of like games and like comes up with theories for like what they people have meant by the things in their game, um or what can I glean from the story.
Hmm.
um kind of stuff. So he like offers to do either Slender Man or this game, and he and they like did like a Twitter poll, and I think it like won out by like one vote, Five Nights at Freddy's, and then he became really big for that thing. So and the franchise has gone on for a very long time. There are like I don't even know how many games, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like up to like 20 or like
Jesus
15. Like
Christ.
it's a lot. I don't know actually. It's probably actually like 10. But that's a lot in and of itself. Cuz there's an AR game like on the phone, there's the mobile games, there's fucking like the VR games. It's crazy, man, but
This that's
um
that's
yeah, man, but
insanity.
it's spawned like such a big thing, and then they got a like book series, whole thing with that, and then they got this fucking movie, which like people thought was insane, but fucking they did it, and so yeah, he came up with these theories about like what happened at in the first one, and like he was able to like correctly guess like a lot of stuff, but like the story gets more convoluted and like expanded upon like chunk after chunk. It's so like crazy at this point, but like I can't even, I have no clue about the timeline of everything. Like you don't know how far this rabbit hole goes, man, and I envy
This
you
this
for
is some
that.
real this is some real iceberg shit. I'm gonna have to look into this.
Dude,
Um
please do. It's so much fun. But like,
so
if
well
you, what my well thing that I wanted to say was that if you do have like a connection to this thing, you're probably gonna love this movie. Or unless you're a big nerd about it and like you're like a dick, like it has to be like every
a
minute
good
detail
movie.
has to be the same. No, the same
No.
thing as like what's in the game or what's the lore or whatever. And, oh my
Oh, those
god.
people suck. I hate if whether
Yeah.
it's like comic books or whether it's an adaptation of like a book or something like
Fucking Star
n- n-
Wars.
it's an adaptation. It doesn't need to translate one to one from
Yeah.
page to screen. Like you can change stuff with adaptations. Like we saw that with the Last of Us TV show on
Oh my
Max. Like
god, it was so good.
the changes, I thought some of the changes were fantastic, you know?
Oh, I loved it.
But I am so
Getting to know
glad.
Bill and Frank was the
Yeah.
best
Oh,
thing
that
they could
episode
have
was
ever
incredible.
done.
I que-
Incredible.
I question people who say that episode wasn't good because that was just extremely well written and
That's
acted
just not
television.
true.
Yeah, it's simply
It's
I agree.
just not true, dude. It's
I wanted to
amazing.
I wanted to bring something up, and I was gonna actually save it towards the end.
Oh no. We just got motherfucking disconnected.
Gotta love the Wi-Fi. Okay. Either way, what I was saying was
Yeah.
shit. Now I lost what I was saying.
Ah,
Um,
shit, man.
goddamn
Oh man,
Wi-Fi.
shit.
I'll remember it. I'll remember it in a second.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh
man. You're doing great, sweetie.
Oh, so I was gonna save this for the end, but it segues basically from what you just said about if you know about the lore and you've played the games, loving this movie. Because I don't know if you're aware, but this is one of the largest gaps in critic and audience reception that I've seen in a hot minute. On Rotten Tomatoes alone, which again, I don't really go by Rotten Tomatoes, you know.
Yeah.
It's not a great basis. It's just an aggregate,
Yeah.
right? But 31% critic score and
Mm-hmm.
87% audience score, which is
That is a high
drastic. Like
audience score, man.
that is. And but my thing is, so I wanted to look into this after I had seen the movie and you know, I just wanted to see, and I thought it
So
would be
excited.
fun on this on this podcast to some of the audience reviews from Rotten Tomatoes to kind of give you a basis on whether or not you would enjoy this movie. And then we can get into talking about like the plot and the characters and my issues with the movie and why Aaron likes it and all that stuff.
With the movie. And why Aaron loves it.
Yeah, all right. So be it. Okay, so this is the first review. Now this person gave this a 5-star, okay? Or sorry, they gave it a 9.5 out of 10, but they gave it 5 stars, right? They wrote exactly what I expected it to be in the best way possible. It was very cool to see the lore of the games laid out in a manner where you actually get to see the story unfold instead of you covering bits and pieces, as well as the new additions unique to film. All right?
I think that's true.
Another comment.
Yep.
Pretty high score, 4 stars. A great movie for the fans of the games and books, but falls short of a decent horror movie for a casual viewer to enjoy. Also, critics are brainless and stupid. Ratings should be higher for what it is. If you say so, Noah C.
I like that person. Noah
Another,
Centineo?
The next,
I love that guy.
I hope so. I hope it's Noah Centineo. Here we go. 4 stars. Enjoyable for fans of the Five Nights at Freddy's games and game theory. But as a horror movie, it suffers from a lot of information being thrown at the audience all at once. Josh Hutcherson and Elizabeth Lale's acting still carries the movie to be a solid 4 out of 5. Let's see.
Oh, yeah. Their acting was good. I liked them.
Try to see more. This is a 5-star review. So this person gave this a 10 out of 10. It was so good. As a Five Nights at Freddy lover since I was 7, I absolutely loved it. And the people that say it was bad either don't like Five Nights at Freddy in general or don't even know what Five Nights at Freddy's is. Also, the movie wasn't even made to be scary. Duh. It might not follow the lore, but it wasn't supposed to. Thank you so much. So those are just some reviews that stood out to me that kind of like paint the picture. So either way, yeah, let's unravel this movie a little bit. Let's actually dig into it.
I'm so excited. Hey, the thing is that I have another thing to bring up about this movie. Well, It's partly about this movie. It's also part of 2 other movies that I hope you know of. The one is the Banana Splits movie.
Never heard of it.
And the second one is Wally's Wonderland, I think. With Nicolas Cage.
Nope. Oh wait, no, I have heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I loved that because I have watched all 3 of those movies and I honestly love all of them.
Okay.
For different reasons. The Banana Splits movie, which we should probably cover at some point.
Is it a horror movie?
It is actually.
Oh, sick.
If you looked at the cover of it and you looked at like the actual characters, like you wouldn't think so. Because you've probably seen them in passing before in like pop culture, like the media, whatever.
I just looked up a regular banana split.
Yeah.
This just looks like a cheaper Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, no, well, it came out and it seemed like it was kind of based on that sort of thing. But that's like interesting to say because they like came out with this idea beforehand and it like spawned so much of a following and like a hype that other people did like their kind of thing with it. So basically in that movie, the Banana Splits movie, one thing that I'll spoil because I think it's just so funny is that those animatronics are people and it's like extremely obvious. But the reason why they were picked were because they were break dancers and that they were good at doing the robot.
Oh, sick.
It's so funny.
That's
It's the funniest thing when you learn that. So like literally all the killer like robots, whatever, they're literally just like dancers.
awesome. Now
That's
that kind of
so
makes me
great.
want to watch that movie.
Oh, dude, you should definitely watch that movie.
That sounds a
Um,
lot more fun than Five Nights at Freddy's.
no, dude, man, I loved it. These movies. Wait, what was the last one that I said though? It was that one, and oh, Wally's Wonderland. That one was fun because Nicolas Cage played like such an awesome character, and he literally didn't say a word the entire time. It's so cool, and
Nick Cage is such a good actor. Like,
he's just so good. Or is he bad?
no, he's absolutely
The like the
good.
Community question.
Yeah, I love Community. But there's no question that he's good. He's
No,
such
I
a good
totally
actor.
get you,
I don't know
man.
if you've seen Pig, but Pig was phenomenal.
I watched a little bit of it, but I don't think I finished it.
It's a great movie. But okay, so I guess we'll dive into this. I have so many issues with this movie, and
Damn.
I don't want to be the Debbie Downer. And you can rebuttal, and you can go into what you love and why I'm wrong. And I hate to be that guy who sides with the critics, but like this, I just did not think this was a good movie. And I'm gonna start with a couple reasons why, because I took
All right,
notes.
go for it.
Um,
I'll refute your bitch ass.
the opening sucked ass.
Take this.
The first introduction to Josh Hutcherson's character is him waking up to an alarm clock. Is this freshman year film school?
Shut the fuck up. You suck.
Um,
That's what you sound like.
okay. You know what my borderline issue is with why I don't like it, at least, is I personally I did not get anything out of this for a couple reasons. It takes itself too seriously to be fun. Like, it doesn't have fun with its premise. It doesn't try to be fun. It's dark and depressing, but it's
I thought
PG-13.
it was tons of fun.
Is it though? Like, it takes itself so. There's one sequence that I think is kind of fun, and it's when they're like dancing with the
Not
animatronics.
like overtly fun.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, it takes itself so seriously, but it's like PG-13, so it's just so not scary.
But it's the story that comes with it.
I thought the story sucked.
That was important. Hey, shut up.
You know what the story?
Anyways,
Wait, you know what? Okay, so for those of you who I think I said spoilers, but even if I didn't, spoilers, I guess, whatever.
yeah.
So basically, a lot of this plot in this movie revolves around Josh Hutcherson, and when he was a kid and his parents went to a campground in Nebraska, his little brother was kidnapped, and he feels like he was there, and he has these reoccurring dreams of that day, and he feels like if he can focus on his dreams hard enough that he can remember who took his brother. It's kind of stupid.
No.
Because
It's not.
I think it's kind of silly because like dreams just don't work like that, man.
But they
And
do, because there's a book on it, and that's what he was reading, and it's true. So
okay. For the sake of that argument, he was like 8 years old in that scene. It's been like how many years? The guy probably does not look the same. B, all you saw was a guy driving the car away. What makes you think that you're going to remember it? I understand it's guilt and he feels like he needs to find his brother and
Yeah.
shit. I get that. I just don't think
Yeah.
it was conveyed well.
yeah.
And also in terms of the story, and then this is what I'll say, and then you can go into your thoughts. Again, major spoilers, guys, if you didn't listen. Matt Lillard being the bad guy was quite possibly the most obvious reveal. I think
No,
I've
for sure, for
ever.
sure.
And
But he was so good as him, and I loved it.
he was underutilized. The thing
Eh,
is, for that reveal to work, right off the bat, it's kind of silly because the entire movie you see this same goddamn memory of Josh Hutcherson as a kid and his brother getting
mhm.
kidnapped, and all you ever see is the back of this guy's head. And like literally the only other like male character you meet in this movie, you meet one
Yeah,
time at the beginning, and it's Matthew Lillard, who when he sees Josh Hutcherson's name on the paper has the most like blatant reaction I've ever
yeah,
seen. He's like, "Oh shit." And then
yeah.
he's like, "Here, have this job." And it's just so obvious. And then of
I loved
course,
all the memes that have come out of this too. It's
oh,
so funny.
are there memes?
So fucking funny.
I've not seen the memes.
Yeah. People have like a thing for how Matthew Lillard says, given your track record, you have limited options. And he, like the way that he said that. And I don't know. I think people are getting hot and heavy. Not sure, but I love Matthew Lillard in this movie. I think he was so incredible and so perfect for this role. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
No,
I'm right and you're wrong. So
I listen. I love Matthew Lillard. Like nobody loves Matthew Lillard more than me, man. I love that guy so much. But and he's good in this movie. I just think he's underutilized, and also the whole reveal thing, like you said, is like of course it's like very obvious, but like for that to work, like, and again, I understand it's a PG-13 movie, but I don't think that excuses bad writing. Like to make that reveal work, and they do it as if it's supposed to be a big plot twist and a reveal. For that to work, you need other red herrings in the movie. You need other characters to point at and be like, "Oh, maybe it's that guy." Or like, "Oh, maybe it's this person." But like right from the second you meet Matthew Lillard, his reactions are so evidently showcasing like, "Hey, I'm a fucking bad guy." And then of course at the end the reveal is he is. And you know what's another you know what's another dumb reveal? The woman cop character. Like
yeah,
what is she like? I swear this kind of scene happens 3 times in the movie where
yeah,
she meets up with Josh Hutcherson and she reveals this like weird piece of knowledge that she has, or says something like completely
yeah,
off the whatever, and Josh Hutcherson will say something like, "How do you know that?" or "Who are you?" And then it'll just cut away, and then it's never addressed again. And that happens like 3 or 4 times until finally, like in the last 20 minutes of the movie, he's finally like, "Who are you?" And she goes into this long story about this terrible, cruel man, and she's
yeah.
like, "He's my father," and it's
He's my dad.
all right.
Yeah,
I'm done. You can go
and it
into
was
what
really
you.
good, and I loved it. So, what's the problem? I don't understand.
It's just, but
It's not quite. It's not quite reaching me. I guess. Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't think it
Must be
was
a
done.
dumb fucking point. Sorry.
I just didn't think it was that
It's a
well
tad rude.
done. Like none of it. Like I didn't think it was handled well. I thought the script was really really bad, and
Loved it.
it wasn't scary.
So good.
And I hate when people make the argument it wasn't meant to be scary. It's a horror movie. What are you talking about? Of course it's meant to be scary.
It's meant to be fun. And
But
it
it
was.
but it
It was
takes
incredibly fun.
you don't think it takes itself a little too seriously?
No.
Ah.
It took itself a little seriously, but
I
not
th-
too seriously.
That's the thing is
Like
I don't
you can't not take those big furry creatures like not seriously enough, you know? They were so like fun.
the designs are cool. Like I will give them that. And I don't
Oh
know.
my gosh, they brought it to life so well.
I could be wrong, but like those were practical effects, right? Like those.
Yes, that was one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about because I thought it was interesting how in those two other movies, I think, like that, in both Wally's Wonderland and the Banana Splits movie, use people um, for their like animatronic stuff, but this one actually used like puppets. So I have this little tidbit here. Unlike most studios using CGI for bringing creatures to life, Jim Henson's Creature Shop was responsible for the creation of the Fazbear animatronics.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. And up here, because of Foxy's skeletal like structure, he was built as a full body animatronic puppet and performed by Russ Walco, along with a group of puppeteers from Jim Henson's Creature Shop. In shots where Foxy walked, it took as many as 6 puppeteers to accomplish his full range of movements. That's awesome. I love that. I love stuff like that.
That is cool. I could tell. Like I was pretty sure it was practical effects. I wanted to make sure though, because the movie is fairly darkly lit, so they maybe just could have hid CGI well, but they looked like practical effects. So those looked great, and like the comments, some of the Rotten Tomatoes scores were not wrong. And the fact that Josh Hutcherson, I think, is trying really hard in this movie. Like I think he's giving a really solid performance.
Yeah.
I just think it's still wrapped up in like a not great script, and I wish that if I could have done two things differently with this movie. I wish it was a little more fun, like it had a little bit more fun with its premise, right? Like maybe make it a little bit more colorful and make it a little bit more fun with maybe some music choices or editing choices. Spruce it up a little bit, make it a little stylized. Like I imagine someone like Edgar Wright, who did like Scott Pilgrim versus the World or Shaun of the Dead, doing a movie like this and like all of the cool like little editing, things that he would have done with like the presentation and stuff.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I guess they maybe, because what else has this director done? Do you know?
Let me see. I don't. I meant to look it up before we started this because I kind of wanted to, because I don't want to be rude.
I'm sure like Quentin Tarantino is not like fighting for the spot to direct Five Nights at Freddy's.
Could you imagine a Tarantino Five Nights at Freddy's movie?
I am trying to.
That would be insane. Imagine all the blood. Jesus Christ.
That'd be awesome though.
Dude, the director doesn't even.
But that one girl getting cut in half was not what I was expecting.
That was solid. That
was not what anybody was expecting.
When that happened, I got excited. Like I was like, all right, I'm kind of bored with this movie. It was a lot of like, like the thing is coming at them and then it'll cut away or cut to black or something.
Yeah.
But then the woman character gets chopped in fucking half, and I was like, oh, cool. We just did Blood Rage in our last episode. That had a really sick halving moment, and then this movie did it, and I was like, man. At that point, I was like, all right, maybe I'll, I'm in now. Like you got me there, and then they never do anything that interesting visually again in the movie. Like listen, you're not rebuttaling me very well here. You're just.
I think my sounds speak for themselves.
I don't know. It's, again, I wish it was more fun. But there are some moments that I liked. I think I mentioned like Josh Hutcherson is giving like a good performance. I did like the one line when the female cop towards the end was like, listen, if you want to screw up your own life, fine. But if you bring what's the sister's name again? Oh, that's another plot point, guys. I forgot Emily, whatever.
No.
It doesn't even matter.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Abby.
Yes,
it's Abby.
Abby. Whatever. So Josh Hutcherson has a younger sister named Abby. Their parents died, I guess. And so now he's like her guardian, but they also have like an aunt who wants to take Abby so that she gets the government checks every month or something. I don't know. It's not developed that well. Um,
Me.
and also, you know what I found kind of weird? She basically, you find out that the girl who Josh Hutcherson has been hiring to babysit Abby while he's at
Hiring, quote
work.
unquote,
Yeah. What do you mean,
because
quote unquote?
he's not actually paying
Oh,
her.
right. He's not. He's like keeps saying like, "Oh, I'll pay you." But you
Yeah.
you find out that she actually is working for the aunt, and at one point the aunt approaches them with her lawyer, who I feel so bad for him. His name is Doug, and I wrote in my notes I feel bad for Doug because he always looks like he's having a panic attack. Like he's always like sweating and looking like he's gonna
Yeah.
fucking drop dead. But she approaches the girl, and they meet at a restaurant, and it's the girl who babysits Abby and her brother, and basically she pays them or makes a deal with them that she'll pay them $1,000 if they go to the Fazbear Pizzeria,
Fazbear.
Fazbear, whatever. She goes to the Fazbear thing, and
Fazbear.
if they destroy it, that would hopefully get Josh Hutcherson fired, and then he would look bad in front of the judge. Okay. But then they proceed to go there and get fucking murdered by the animatronic things. Like
Yeah.
that's where the halving takes place, right? And
Uh-huh.
the aunt, who we do see again in the film, never once questions what happens to them. It is never addressed again. Like we
She
do.
didn't care.
I know,
She
but
doesn't do her dirty work.
I just thought it was funny. We never get a scene where she's like, "Geez, I wonder what happened to them. Did they just bail on the job, or did they do it? Like, what happened?" Like, he clearly gets fired, but then she never hears from them again.
Yeah.
It just doesn't bring it up. But yeah, so that's another. There's like weirdly a lot of plots, and like Aaron mentioned at the beginning, it's like an hour and 50. I know you love this movie. Can you at least agree it probably could have been 20 minutes shorter?
I'd say 20 minutes. They got like a lot of more story to get to.
There's like,
There's 100% chance that there's going to be a sequel to this movie.
I think if you cut down on
With
the
probably some better directing, you never know.
yeah. I if they maybe bring in another director who has like a little bit more, prowess and like visuals, like, you know me, I'm a visual creature. I like to see nice aesthetic things. This movie had some boring cinematography.
It was all right. It got the job done, I felt like.
It wasn't bad. It was just bland, I'd say, overall.
Yeah, nothing too special. Except for that, and people have been talking about it online. That one transition where the kid is like in between those curtains and he like backs up and then out comes the Foxy animatronic. Like that was him. I was like, damn, that was kind of cool though.
That was good. There was another transition too when right towards the beginning, Josh Hutcherson, he like when he first goes to sleep and he looks up and he has the Nebraska thing with the trees, and then it zooms in and then it turns into actual trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Fun.
I liked that.
I enjoyed it. Would you like to hear some facts about this movie?
Yes, but before that, I want you to sell me on this movie. I want you to point to some scenes that are fun, because the debate now is whether this movie is fun or not.
I thought that stuff was pretty fun.
I will say I thought the sequence when they were dancing and then they were like, there's that like shot, like the overhead shot where they're all like laying on their backs and like their hands are behind their heads, just chilling. Like, I thought that was fun, but
they pulled some fan service in there, obviously, and it was great to see some of the stuff like that one guy Matt Pat, like his cameo was epic, especially because leading up until that point, even though he was like really big, like or rather even the Five Nights at Freddy is big because of him, and like they've had such like a great like relationship, and supposedly he wasn't going to be in the movie, or like they didn't show him in the movie in like the trailers, when they came out with it, he like pretended like he fucking lied, dude. He made everybody think that like he wasn't approached for the movie, um, and that he was bummed out when he saw the trailer because he was like, "Oh, good for them," you know, but like he was like sad or whatever. And then
Ah.
so when he came up, I freaked the fuck out.
Who was he in the
And
movie?
like he was the waiter. If you noticed, that was like a very cameo-ish scene. I felt like where they're like at a diner
Oh, the scene that I was
and
just talking about, where they like make the deal to go destroy the
oh
pizzeria.
yeah, that one.
Oh,
And
that's
like
that.
right at the
Yeah.
beginning, he's like, "Oh, lunch is the most important meal of the day." And then she's like, "Isn't that breakfast?" No, some may say that, but that's just a theory. And then everybody's like, "Oh my god, he said it!" Because that's what he says in the on his YouTube channel. He's like, "That's just a theory," and it's
Oh, wait. Does he do film theory
that's
too?
just a theory. Yeah, he does.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
I don't know the game theory, but I know film theory.
That's crazy. That's so funny that you know film theory, but you don't know game theory. I love film theory too.
Yeah, he's got some dumb theories, but he knows it.
It's
He knows
fun.
it. Sometimes
It's so much
he has like
fun, man.
really sometimes he has like really good like logical theories, and then other times it's like, oh, here's why like the villain in the Lorax is like actually a good guy, and it's like, no, no, he's not. He has fun with it though.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
Good for him though. Yeah, okay, now
Fucking
that
love
makes
it.
sense. Um, all right, but
It's so
yeah, I
cool.
mean, trying to think of other scenes I liked. Drawing a blank. It's
Fuck you. Suck. Oh, I really liked when the when fucking Matthew Lillard fucking dies and they do the
not,
like
but he doesn't die.
sort of
He's still alive because he always comes
yeah,
back. Which,
he does always come back.
yeah. So he's definitely gonna come back for the sequel. Then that's fun.
Well, duh. But along with more stuff that you'll find out about later.
They should tie it in with five. They should tie it in with Nightmare on Elm Street.
What?
Cause they both take kids.
Uh-huh.
They both like the name Freddy.
Uh-huh.
They got everything in common. Did you see
Wow.
did you see Robert Englund, the guy who plays Freddy in all the original movies?
Mm-hmm.
He suggested that Kevin Bacon play Freddy if they were to do another remake. And I would be so on board with that. I think he has the perfect look.
Now that's interesting.
And it would be kind of cool since he kind of got one of his earliest films is the first Friday the 13th, so kind of coming full circle and now is like a seasoned actor in his 50s or 60s, like I forget how old he is. But you know, coming around and doing like becoming like a horror icon like that, that'd be kind of cool.
I would that's something to ponder.
I'd be into that.
I
I
think that
think,
would be pretty cool.
yeah.
Let's get it done. Let's have it made.
You're not selling me on this movie though yet.
Oh my god, man. It's good.
Tell me why.
Pardon me.
Wait,
Yeah, it is really honestly all that
so
like
would
if
you
you know about the story
Yeah.
and about like the lore and all that stuff and no, it's definitely
To me it feels very
something you'd enjoy.
very end game-ish, like not in the sense of like scale or scope, but in the sense that
Mm-hmm.
like I remember I have a friend, this girl who she is not really a Marvel fan. I think she's seen maybe a couple, but she saw Infinity War back when that came out and thought it was like really cool and was like, "Whoa, I like that's such a like a crazy ending and that's so unique." And then she saw Endgame when that came out with her family and she was like, "Yeah, it didn't really do it for me." And I was like, "No, I get that because Endgame is a movie that's made for the fans. It's a lot of fan service and like the moments like, you know, Tony meeting his father you know, in the past or like
Mm-hmm.
Steve seeing Peggy again or Thor going back and talking to his mom and all
Yeah.
that stuff that's not going to really do it for you if you're not like a big fan of the franchise.
Yeah, stuff
And
that's kind of dependent on other like
yes,
things like that you'd have to watch, like the Marvels if you didn't watch like the Miss Marvel
or WandaVision.
or WandaVision, yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Then you wouldn't know like entirely what's going on.
and that's my biggest issue with this movie. And I think it's like an understandable argument that I think even the most diehard fans of this movie will admit is that this movie doesn't exactly work if you're not a fan of the franchise already. I'm not seeing a lot of people love this movie who don't have like established love for this franchise already.
Bitch, I've been saying that.
I know, but that like I
That's
think that's the
precisely
point.
why the
Yeah.
audience score is so high. Because the critics are like, what is this Five Nights at Freddy nonsense? And
But
then they
yeah.
fucking hate it.
Yeah, and I think that just comes down to like it felt I hate to say this. I hate to say it. I don't want to be mean. It felt a tad lazy. It didn't
Damn.
feel like they put their best foot forward because I think this premise lends itself really well to a really cool horror movie. Like the idea of this
I
like
think,
abandoned arcade is so cool,
yeah.
and they don't really do a lot with it. You know, they don't. I don't know.
I think you kind of misunderstand the story behind how this thing kind of got made. Like, I'm pretty sure it was like in 2018,
Hmm.
I believe, was when they decided they wanted to do it. And then they bounced around from studio to studio. I think at some point it was going to not go to Netflix. It was like something else until finally Blumhouse picked it up like however long ago. Um, and then I think it like also like bounced around like directors and writers. But they for sure like kept the author or like the author, like the creator, like
Hmm.
there. But no, this for this to come out, it was a rough way. Or now it's yeah, like it's on Peacock now and
Did very well at the box
did
office.
snutty well at the box office. It's actually that was one of the things that I wanted to say.
Yeah, and
Hang
like
on, it
just
grossed $80 million domestically in its opening weekend, more than any other Blumhouse film, surpassing Halloween 2018 with $76 million.
that's
It's also
crazy.
the second biggest opening weekend gross for any film based on a video game after the Super Mario Brothers movie 2023 with $146 million. Damn,
And
the Super Mario Brothers movie popped off.
yeah, that's
I enjoyed
another
it.
that's another movie too that like I don't think works unless it only works as like fan service. It's not like
I think it works relatively well for. I think it holds its own for the most part.
it's here's my thing is I see what like a movie like the Lego movie can do
Yeah.
with that premise and if you can make Legos interesting and creative and unique and fun for adults and kids, that is what I think animation really should be. And I
Mm.
don't think the Mario Brothers movie it it just I don't I don't know. It's my same thoughts with Five Nights at Freddy's is like it's just like I even watching the movie, not playing the games, I could like feel the fan service in scenes. Like I could feel
In some of them, definitely.
yeah, and it's not even references I get. It's just like I can feel like that's what I'm being given. And that's how I felt about the Mario Brothers. It's like, oh, like, there's the mushroom and then there's, you know,
Hmm.
it's just a lot of references and then you got like another problem I have with that movie is
Oh shit.
there's just Seth Rogen. I love him as a talent. He needs to stop voice
Yeah.
acting because he doesn't act. He just talks.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it
He just kind of plays himself.
he sounds the same in every animated movie, whether he's playing. That's why that scene is so funny in what is it, Space Jam Legacy, where you get all the different. No, I'm sorry, it's not Space Jam Legacy. It's the oh the Chipmunk movie. What's that? The two Chip and
Alvin and the
Dale.
Chipmunk?
No,
Oh,
Chip
jeez.
and Dale. The recent Chip and Dale movie. Did you see it?
Oh, Rescue Rangers.
Rescue
Yeah.
Rangers. Yeah. Do you saw it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's that shot where there's like all like there's like 3 or 4 different animated characters that are all voiced by Seth Rogen, all in the same shot, and it's like Pumbaa from The Lion King.
Oh yeah.
What are the other ones? Whatever other voice
Pumbaa
roles he's done.
from,
But and they all just
fuck.
it's just all Seth Rogen proving my point. It's kind of like the Dwayne the Rock Johnson effect, where like, did you see that picture floating around where it's just 4 different pictures of the Rock in 4 different movies, but he's wearing the same outfit in each movie?
Really? Oh
Yeah.
my god, I need to see this.
Oh, dude,
What?
it's great. It's are you googling it?
Yeah.
Just type in like Dwayne the
Same
Rock Johnson's
outfit.
same outfit meme.
All right, let me see this. Hmm. Uh. Oh. These are
Did you find it?
separate These are 5 separate movies. Oh my god, they are. What
Yeah,
the
it's like
fuck?
it's like that one too. It's like these are
The
all
same like background and everything.
He's just like in a tight
What
shirt
the
in
hell?
in the jungle.
Yeah. Like, and it's like either gray or like a sand-ish color.
Oh, I never got to my point earlier. The whole reason I brought up him, like the cop character, is that she goes, yeah, if you want to fuck your own life up, fine, but if you ever bring Abby here again, I'll shoot you.
Yeah. That was pretty intense.
Oh my god. Oh, I don't want to pick on kid actors, so I'm just gonna make one reference to the girl who plays Abby.
Yeah.
When he rescues her, she goes in probably one of the worst line deliveries I've seen. She goes, "I love you too, Mike, but we should probably go now."
Man, this movie, huh? Really good. Yes.
Nah,
Yeah.
it's bad. I will straight up
It's
say
fun.
I haven't said this in a while. This is a bad movie. It's I think it's a bad movie. I think the
Now-
script is bad.
Now, objectively speaking, I would say that this is not that good a movie now.
Okay.
But being me and feeling how I feel about this movie, I'd say it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I had my bar really low. Like considering the whole like situation with like how it came to be.
Yeah.
But
Like you're just happy that it came
but
out.
it went well. And it came out and I was so stoked about it, and I wasn't really that disappointed. Which is like a solid movie for me.
The
So,
question I have to you, since we've discussed it so much on this podcast already, is would you recommend this movie to a person who does not play the game and does not know the backstory?
absolutely. Actually, maybe. Because it would probably be silly to, like, have them, like, come in and be, like, all confused and then, like, you have to explain it. Um, but, like, maybe if you want to feel, like, a little jolt of being helpful, uh, being appreciated, then you can be like, oh well, let me help you out. So this is Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, um, shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted
I'm
see
telling
I
the truth.
I know you went in with low expectations. I also went in watching this with low expectations. Oh, I never got to my story. So my story about how the mindset that I was already in when I watched this movie.
Yeah.
So recently, guys, I have been watching some TV, a lot of TV actually. After watching just straight horror films for all of October and a lot of even September, I was catching up on a lot of TV. So I caught up on Loki, and I also caught up on The Fall of the House of Usher. And shout out if you follow me over my YouTube, former film student. I did a video essay on both of those, so you can check that out. But then after watching Fall of House of Usher, I was like, I could kind of go for more of Mike Flanagan TV. So I decided to finally watch Midnight Mass, which is one of his prior Netflix shows.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
I
liked
got
it.
so fucking hooked on it. It's so good. I cannot recommend it enough. I think it's probably his best work. I think it's better
Dude,
than
I
Hill
fucking
House.
loved it so much.
I think it's better than Oculus. I think it's better than all of his movies. It is so good. And I
It's
just have one
incredible.
episode left. It's very good. And I was like on like episode 4 or 5 of that show. There's 7 episodes. And all I wanted to do was come home and watch it. And
Yep.
I figured, okay. First off, I had a horrible day at work. I had a
Yeah.
terrible day at work.
Oh,
My
no.
I recently I got a new job, but my previous job that I just left, basically at that job you have to make a quota of setting 9 appointments a week. And I was doing bad that week recently already, and I think I made 0 appointments that day, and it was just a terrible day at work. And then on the way home, there was traffic. I have to take 2 highways to get home. I live about 45 minutes away from that job. And I had to
Yeah.
take 2 highways to get home. And the first highway was backed up for no apparent reason. There was no accident. There was no work being done on the road. It was just traffic, and then there wasn't. So that took me what normally takes me 15 minutes to get from that highway to the next one, took me about 40 minutes. And then I get on the next highway, and there was a bunch of road work being done. So what normally takes me, 10, 15 minutes to get from that highway to the back roads that I take to get to my house, it took me like another 40 minutes to an hour. And it took me so long to get home. And all I wanted to do was watch Midnight Mass because I was so hooked and I just wanted to see how the story was done. But I had to watch this stupid fucking movie.
Damn, man.
I was so pissed off already. I got home, I sat down, and then I assumed this movie would be short because it's a fucking Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And then I see
Yeah.
that it's an hour and 50 minutes long. I don't start the movie until 10 o'clock at night. And then, to make matters fucking worse, there was something wrong with my Wi-Fi. So the quality kept dropping from like HD down to 480p every 2 minutes for like the first hour of me watching that movie. And the movie fucking
That
sucked.
sounds, well, I enjoyed it.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm being harsh on it. I also sorry guys. I was kind of in a bad mood coming into this podcast.
A little
I
grumpy.
I was out, it's like 25 degrees out right now, and I had to be
It
out.
is so cold.
I had to be outside doing something. And I was out there for like 20 minutes or something, and
Mhm.
it was so cold. um,
Yeah.
but I'm warm now. I'm warm now, so that's okay.
I'm
Um,
warmer.
what's
I
your
could use like a blanket.
what's your favorite scene in this movie?
In this movie, I'd say, um, hmm,
Take notice how long
that's
he's
a good
thinking, guys.
question. Shut up.
It's because there's not that
I
many.
kind of like the scene where like they're like trashing the place and then like they like come to life and do their thing. Because like a lot of granted, like a lot of it reminded me of like the stuff in the game. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I liked the opening bit. I won't lie. I liked that.
Where the security guard
Like
gets chased.
yeah, but
Uh,
in particular, I like the part where he's like strapped down in the chair, and like the thing is like coming towards him, and like it's like just like a bunch of spinning blades, because it's interesting to think that um that like if you were to look at it, you'd probably be like, well, that's probably not the most efficient way to do like a function, but
No.
like it doesn't, it's just a bunch of swirls of blades
Yeah.
in no particular order, I think. um and I'm like, well, that's also kind of cool because it's like then there's no real point to it. It's just he's gonna fuck your face up like bad. I'm like, damn. So
But then
I don't
later,
know.
it seems quite
It was
easy
kind of fun.
to get out of that trap. Like Josh
It
Hutcherson
was
is
just,
put in it later, and he gets out of it quite easily.
well,
I
he
guess
was
not. I
the
guess not
guy set
easily,
it
but
up for him. The guy set it up for him. Did you notice that?
what do you mean?
Like at the beginning, that security guard, he was like messing. The way that he was able to get out of something else was because he was messing with the bolt, like a loose like bolt or whatever.
Oh,
Um, and
right.
so like when he was sitting down, he was like messing with it so he could like get out of his like wrist restraints, and he got like really far, and then just as he was like about to like really like finish it off and like free his hand or whatever, it like got to him, so he like died. But it was still like that when Josh Hutcherson's character went in there, um and he like finished it up, and was able to escape.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense, I
Yeah.
guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still doesn't make it a better movie, but I guess
To
that
me, I
makes
was like,
it makes
this
that
is
scene.
foreshadowing. I knew it.
Yeah, I again, like, I don't know. I don't even think it's nitpicking. I don't think this movie was made for me, and I can understand that. It's not a movie that I'm like, I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't really have fun with it, but I understand why people would, especially if you are a fan of the game. Like, I can see how the references and just the atmosphere and the style could work for you. I think I also, if this movie was rated R, I probably would have had a lot more fun with it. Because I think it did feel like restricted to that PG-13 rating in a way that like a lot of PG-13 movies are. And I think in a movie like
Mm.
I think in a paranormal film where it's like supernatural and ghosts and stuff, I think you can get away with that sort of PG-13 rating and still be effectively scary. But when it comes to something like this where you got people getting murdered and getting killed, I think you need that R rating to really make it entertaining in a sense. Because, like I said, there's too many shots in this movie where I felt like the animatronics were like going in for the kill, and they would like cut away and like shoot around the violence, and like they have to because it's PG-13. But it like
Yeah.
I don't know, it takes me out of the scene. Like I don't know,
Yeah, I'm not
pulls me
sure.
out of it. Yeah.
It's interesting. I think it's hard to say because a lot of the audience now, it's hard to say like what percentage of the audience now is, but I know a lot of them are like younger, like kids, but it's like also interesting because they include like stuff that was like popular with like the, I guess, older crowd like me. Um, and man, it's like, I guess like different ages can enjoy, but like I think maybe the more prominent um population of the audience is like a younger crowd.
I yeah, and I can see this being like a like I saw someone make the argument that this is like meant to like not meant, but like this is a good introduction for kids into horror.
Oh yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I think it's a movie that may introduce you to horror, but in my opinion, you'll watch later on in life and be like, "Nah, this isn't good." um, yeah.
Probably not the best unless you know your stuff, I guess.
Hey, that was a good rhyme.
Get what you get and you don't get upset.
Damn, he dropping bars.
Hell yeah.
The
I'm done with
notorious,
that though.
the notorious Aaron out here.
The
Um,
notorious AA wrong.
well, do you have more scenes or things you want to talk about, or do you have fun facts, or
Um yeah, there's something that I saw that was like honestly pretty sweet.
Mhm.
Um um Oh, I also forgot something. I mispronounced it. Wally's Wonderland. It's actually Willy's Wonderland. So there's that.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's okay. Mistakes are meant to occur. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
so here's I guess the story of how this got passed around. So the film went through several directors and producers before production finally began. Development of a Five Nights at Freddy's 2014 film adaptation began in April 2015 with the involvement of Warner Brothers Pictures. Roy Lee, David Katzenberg, and Seth Graham Smith were set to produce it, and Gil Keenan announced as director and co-writer. After several delays in production, the Warner Brothers version was no longer moving forward, and Keenan dropped out of the project. In March 2017, Blumhouse Productions was announced as the new production company, with Chris Columbus set to direct and co-write. Columbus also ultimately left the project, and Emma Tammy was announced as his replacement in October 2022. Jason Blum served as a producer on the film
Blum.
throughout. Blum, cool. Blum served as a producer on the film through his Blumhouse Productions banner in association with game creator Scott Cawthon's Scott Cawthon Productions banner.
So you're telling me
Yeah.
that we went from Gil Keenan, who, if I'm remembering correctly, did Monster House,
Huh.
to Chris Columbus, who did Home Alone and wrote Gremlins,
Yeah.
to a woman who doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
Really? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
when I looked at the Five Nights at Freddy's, when you were like, "Hey, did she do anything else?" I tried to look up her Wikipedia because that's my go-to, and she doesn't have one. So maybe she has a
See if she's got.
IMDb page. I
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah, she does.
I
She's done Into the Dark. Oh, she directed some episodes of Into the Dark. I heard that was pretty good. Um,
I
The
I don't
Left
want to
Right
say.
Game. The
Yeah, I
Wing.
haven't heard. I have not heard of any of these films. So.
Election Day. Fair Chase.
Yeah.
She's some producer.
I yeah. I. Hmm. Okay, so not the most experienced, I guess, but
So yeah, so
I would have liked to seen what those other directors would have done with the project. I think that would have been
That definitely would have been interesting.
Chris Columbus. What was the last thing Chris Columbus directed? Jeez.
That's what I was wondering.
But either way, I think that would have been fun. I think there's a lot of directors who could have had fun with this premise. You know what this movie feels like it's trying to be in the way that it feels like it's trying to be like Michael Dougherty in a sense with like Trick or Treat or like Krampus with like the animatronic stuff. Like, I'm not saying he's the only one to do that, but like he makes it such a staple of his horror movies, but like he has fun with his premise and he also makes it still kind of scary. Like, imagine Michael Dougherty doing this movie. Now that would have been something.
That would be interesting.
Imagine how much fun that would have been. Oh.
Yeah, but he's probably making something else right now.
Man, it better be Trick or Treat too.
Also, Matthew Lillard revealed that he signed a 3-picture deal with the studios.
Yay.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited for the fans of this movie. They had fun with it. Maybe the next one will be better produced, better directed, possibly.
So excited.
Could be cool. I don't really have a lot of thoughts on this movie, to be honest. Do you have more facts that you want to...
Looking through.
Oh, also, I thought it was kind of weird that she goes... he works the graveyard shift, essentially, right? Like, he watches the place overnight.
He was that?
Josh Hutcherson, he watches the place overnight.
Yeah.
When the cop first gets there and they meet, it's fully dark out. And when she leaves, it's like morning and the sun is out. Did she just like stay there the whole night?
I don't know. But I think about that scene because I'm like thinking like she was there during like the nighttime, wasn't she? So then she like left.
It's just
and then
daytime.
He would have had to left. Yeah. But like he would have had to have left at the daytime.
You also assume that like they leave like at the same time.
So then he would know if it was like broken into, but if not, then it's not his responsibility.
Well, she was there. No, well, she blames him. She thinks that he was zonked out on sleeping pills and forgot to lock the garage. But like she was there with him like the entire night, so she would have been with him while he was locking up, unless she just like hung out. I don't know. The script is bad, like flat out. It's just not good. But
maybe. Yeah.
Bad rebuttal. I win this argument, my friend. No, I think it's been made pretty clear that like if you're a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, you'll probably have fun with this movie. But if you don't really know much about it and you just want like a good horror movie that's fun and entertaining and interesting and creative, this isn't it. I hope they do more with the premise. I'm not opposed to the sequel, expanding upon it and like going into more detail, and having fun with it.
Yeah.
I could be persuaded.
Nice.
Well, if we don't...
I think I'm just about done with everything that I would really like to say.
All right. Yeah, it's a newer
supposedly
movie.
this movie also like made its money back by selling like the rights or whatever like right away. So they wouldn't have lost either way.
Well, they made a fuck ton, so good for them.
Yeah, man. Sick.
I hope Matt Lillard gets a bunch of residuals from the box office success.
So excited for him to do that, yeah.
Yeah, so
he's earned it.
He has. I love that guy. One of these days I'm gonna meet him when I have enough money to go to one of those horror cons.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so shall we get into scores and next week's recommendation?
I think so.
All right. Do we want to give the people the good news or the bad news with scores? Because it's been it's evident that I'm going to give this a low score and you're going to give it a high score. So for the sake of that, do we want to start low and go high, or start high and
Um,
go low?
Let's just
Let's
say our scores at the same time.
no. You know what's gonna happen?
No, let's do that, please.
Let's have you go first because I'm gonna say my score and it's gonna be so low that out of spite you're gonna raise your score.
No.
So you go first. Give me the
All right,
score.
all right, I'll give it first. All right, this movie I'm gonna rate 8 Shaggies out of 10.
All right, that's not too bad. I thought you were gonna give it like an 8.9 or something.
No, I was gonna keep it at 8.
All right, I'm gonna give this movie a 3.8 out of 10.
Jesus Christ.
I told you.
That was not baller.
I did
That's
not
the
have.
most unballer thing I've ever heard.
I knew this movie wasn't gonna be like well made going into it. Like it just like I just I just do that. But I wanted to have fun and I just didn't have fun with this. This is eerily reminiscent of Child's Play 3, where it has like the structure to be fun, but the execution is not there. But either way, that gives a combined score of 5.9 out of 10. So, like Aaron said at the beginning, it's going to be the
Damn.
most mid score ever. And I'd say a mid score is 5.9 out of 10.
Hella mid score.
But yeah, so getting into next week's recommendation, guys, we're for the first time ever diverting from the horror movie trend and just going with a fun fall centric mini series, I'd say, that's very short. We are doing
Yes.
Over the Garden Wall. It
Over
is
the Garden
a
Wall.
mini series, I believe, on HBO Max currently. It aired on Cartoon Network, I believe, originally, and I don't remember the exact length, but it is
starring Elijah Wood.
yes, Elijah Wood is the most prominent name in the cast. It's a very
Yes.
fun, cute, entertaining story. If you have
Never
kids,
watched it.
yeah, I'm so excited for you to see. I think it's going to be so up your alley. The animation's fun. The stories are fun. It's a little not spooky, but it's the type of movie or not movie. I'm sorry. It's the type of show that you put on and you get under a blanket and you get some hot cocoa and on a cold fall day and you just sit back and you get all warm, cozy, and snug, and then you watch it. It's so fun. But I do know it's short. It's around the length of a movie. I think it's around an hour and 10, hour and 20. So you can bang it out in a night, or you can spread it out over 2 or 3 days if you want. It's just very fun, lighthearted. So we're gonna be talking about that one next week. We're probably gonna talk about that in a more linear fashion since it is an episodic mini series. So we could just go episode by episode and talk about each one and what we liked and whatnot. And it's gonna be really fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be snug and cozy. Maybe for that episode I'll throw like a fire crackling in the background as a little bit of an ambience. I don't know. But anyway,
bit of tea
guys,
in there.
yeah. So check out Over the Garden Wall. I believe it's on HBO Max, so you can check that out. So you don't get spoiled. Yeah, so we can do some plugs. You can find this podcast anywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube. We've, people have been seemingly enjoying us being on YouTube recently, so you can check us out there. As well as you can follow us over on Facebook or Instagram, Ask Scared Speechless. I'd recommend Instagram. We don't really post too much on Facebook, but here and there I do. So follow us on either of those, whichever platform you use. We are not on X / formerly Twitter yet, but maybe someday. You can find me personally over at my personal Instagram at BoosJacob, spelled BoosJacob, all lowercase letters, all one word. And you can find me over on YouTube, on my own personal YouTube channel, the former film student. I do movie and TV related content. I put out 2 new recent video essays, as mentioned earlier, one on Loki Season 2 and one on The Fall of the House of Usher, the most recent Mike Flanagan Netflix miniseries. I also, have a couple new cool videos planned. I'm excited for November and December. Some cool little ideas that I want to, kind of play out and rolling around the old noggin. But yeah, so follow me over there if you'd like movie and TV related content.
Yeah, and for me, I have an Instagram that's at Vixatic. That's VIXATIC. Don't worry about what it means. But I post some like I said, I post some like personal stuff and don't do that much anymore. But it is what it is. If you want,
Tis what it is.
tis.
But anyway, guys, thank you for listening to us. As always, we appreciate each and every one of you listeners. We, have a really fun time talking about these movies. It's always a good time. Throw us on whenever you get a chance, whenever you're on your morning drives into work, on your or afternoon drives to work, or whenever you're leaving work, throw us on in the car. When you're at the gym getting your pump on, your morning little walks to go get your cups of coffee, whenever you guys got like a free hour or so to spare. We talk about a horror movie, new episodes every Monday, so you can, look forward to something on the dreaded Monday work day. Something a little fun to look forward to. Listening to two guys yabber on about some horror films, with the exception of next week, where we're going to talk about a very fun, lighthearted animated cartoon show. But it'll be a nice little fun
So
break
excited.
from all the spooky stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, that is really it. Aaron, you got anything else for the people?
Throw us on when you're at Chuck E. Cheese and the robot keeps staring at you and you're like not entirely sure if they're alive or not, and then they look away and then you're like, oh, it's okay, and then you look away and then you look back and it's staring at you again, only this time you feel like it's like an inch closer, and then you repeat this process over and over until you're dead.
Or throw us on after your brother gets kidnapped.
Yeah. Damn.
This movie's weirdly dark, man. Weirdly dark.
I like
But
it.
well, guys, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of Scared Speechless, the podcast where every episode we try to find the words to describe our favorite and least favorite horror films. Like I said, you can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. Thanks again, as always, for listening. And one last time, Over the Garden Wall, the animated miniseries, is our next episode. So check that out if you don't want to be spoiled for next week's episode. And, well, thanks again, guys. We will catch you on the next episode. Goodbye.
Bye.